Yo, 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 what up, YouTube? What's up? It's your boy back with another one of them fields. So tap it, grab your blunts, grab your joints, grab your girl, grab your homeboy. Fuck it, bro. Sit him down. Tell him it's time to listen. Tap it. I'm gonna need to see 2K subscribers on this channel before the end of the year. And this video probably ain't even gonna come out till like later in August. Yo, my G. On some real shit, on some true G shit, it used to be cloudy. And when I say cloudy, I'm talking, sometimes I try to reanalyze how I saw life because I was a young child at the time. So maybe a lot of the experiences and the way my body has like adapted to heat and cold made certain, hot temperatures feel a certain way. But between that and what we're gonna talk about with the routine as a child, nah, these cloudy days when you wake up and you gotta leave your house at 7 a.m. because you got work at 8 and you gotta take the train, that shit don't feel the same as going to school. Now you might say it's because of the impotence of the job that you have to deal with in both, but I'm not talking about where you ended up. I'm talking about the travel there. I'm really starting to analyze that a lot of the ways that we've changed around as a society also revolve around the idea that we don't do shit that we was doing 10 years ago. We ain't, like, I can understand the advent of a car, but like the advent of just shit being inaccessible, like I don't hear kids saying, yo, let's go meet up at the mall, because the mall is whack. I don't see after school centers popping like they used to. I don't see them. There's none in our neighborhood anymore. Yo, what up, man? We're doing a YouTube segment. We chilling. We vibing. When I mean it used to be cloudy, I mean there's a difference between what it felt like when it was raining yesterday in the same city I've been living in, and when it was raining and I was 8 and I had to go borrow quarters from a dude that was at the edge of the block because I wanted to play Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and Metal Slug on an arcade machine across the street from me before well, not summer camp, but like the youth center would host like, kids could come into the summer, you got to get registered or whatever, but it wasn't like a program, you know what I mean? It was like, it was the neighborhood hangout spot so kids could have something to do as opposed to feeling, oh, it's Saturday, I guess I'm staying inside and playing 2K. Like they knew they was going somewhere. Now, obviously you have these same influences through sports. Some people find fighting game communities, some people make them. Some people are really interested in that, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. That online play was not shit in 2001. We were not adults with jobs who could afford their own means towards certain things. And when I think about the impact of just knowing that even if you were like, Amazon is a thing, you know what I mean? You feel me? Like, people stopped needing to go outside, so kids immediately took that as the first, Fortnite's popping, this is that is popping. We can always go outside, but we're gonna miss these V-Bucks, we're gonna miss these skins, bro. And it's like the culture just hyper shifted towards not really needing human contact with one another. Who the fuck is VR for? Who the fuck is VR? When I say, like, maybe I'm looking through it with rose-tinted glasses because I understood that having Mega Man Battle Network 3 was the only way I'd get to play with other people who had Mega Man Battle Network 3, because what am I gonna do? Like, sit there and be like, oh, I'm gonna use your deck. How do I play? How do I net battle? How do I do this? It's like you get interested in the game. That feeling of getting shown a game or being able to play a game. You remember how they used to test little games in They used to test games at GameStop and used to be able to sit there and play the newest title or whatever. That inch to buy you forward, you don't gotta do that no more. You don't gotta do that no more. let alone the most popular games are free to play. See, and that's why I appreciate these conversations that I have with you, the same way that I don't appreciate that there's never enough time for me to get to one main point because it would take too long. I love the idea of a podcast. I love the idea of shooting the shit for an hour, talking about, you know, this and that. But I do understand this is the YouTube audience, and maybe I'll tune out halfway through it. Maybe you're looking for some political takes. It's whatever. Regardless of that. I feel like we took that for granted because that was never expected to change. And when I say never expected to change, I think that we all kind of saw, I feel like maybe we saw the world going in this direction, let's say. We saw this inevitability where eventually things were gonna get so good that, like, we should be able to play in the same room with each other without having to, like, leave our rooms. That should be cool. And then so much rapidly happened that there are certain kids out there, there's certain 20-year-olds at this point who never grew up without the internet. And while this could go into, I wanna stick back to how it's different to be cloudy. Because the rise of the internet and how it affected social growth is one thing. When you didn't have access to shit, and then you got injected into this world with people who might have had more than you. You're competing against them, plus the kids who could start from jump. You know, like, having a Fortnite career wasn't really a thing. You know, nobody was thinking Fortnite career. But now that's a legitimate, TikTok is a legitimate path. All of these are legitimate paths, but you go all the way back, and it's like, just as my chatter said, like, you was getting a demo disc. Bro, you ain't see these games yet? Of course not. This shit is $29.99 for a PlayStation 1 game. Most people find out, oh, that's a battle pass. That's easy. And it's like, yeah, but you also don't understand, like, that decision. Like, there were decisions that had to be made when it was brick and mortar stores. You couldn't wait for sales. If there was a certain brick and mortar store in a certain place, they couldn't do sales. And I still remember it being cloudy. I still remember it being cold. And I remember how that cold felt. It felt like your nostrils, like there was something about the air that gave it that crispiness. And you knew which season you were in. All this shit just kind of blend together into one simple roadmap. And I gotta ask you, when you had to give up those routines as a kid, you know, I'm going home to watch cartoons. I'm going over to Joey's house to play Mega Man with him. We're gonna go meet up at the McDonald's. We're gonna go meet up at the Chinese restaurant. We're gonna go meet up in the park. Now that all of that is done, what did you replace it with? And that's why I say it used to be cloudy. Because you used to see the clouds and it used to fuck with you on a level, but it made the world feel a little bit more ominous. You know, it made it feel you was in class, you know, it was gray outside. When the sun would kind of peek through the clouds, it would be this right here, it'd be this white kind of, and you felt that. Whether you was learning something, whether you hated school, whether you was around 30 people who was class clowns, whether it was crazy, it was cloudy. Now when it snows, you don't got that wonder. You pissed off because you know you got to trudge through it to get somewhere. It's almost like somewhere down the road, weather became a nuisance. Certain things that you cherish deeply became a nuisance. And without you even recognizing it, it flipped over pieces of your personality, little tiny jagged pieces of your personality. And now you're kind of here like, oh shit, that's me. People sit here and say all the time, yo, gaming is whack now. And it's like, that's crazy because you have access to almost every title that you could never afford as a kid. Oh, but them games is outdated. The fuck I give about playing these games now? Logo, I wanna. And to me, there's figures of there's figureheads that I feel personally don't have the recognition possible, the recognition possible to understand just how those little changes now affect somebody's willingness to say, yeah, Matt Walsh is a piece of shit. And I keep bringing that name up as of late in these pieces because it's like, just as the conversation I had yesterday, it don't fathom me how that dude is trustworthy when the truth about how he feels is in what he says. Is deception the game? Because damn, I'm fucked up. Because I've been deceived as a child. And I know that when I had my first breakup, cloudy days felt like shit. And to me, it sends this message that maybe, just maybe, we have to analyze, and I really mean this because it sucks to talk about it in such a vague way, but maybe we should take a closer look at the art that's being produced from those feelings. But hold on. Because in order to have this half of the conversation, we need to talk about that second thing that I had mentioned earlier. The second thing is commitment. Youth is wasted on the young. It felt like when I was younger, I could go home, play 3 video games, do homework, watch 2 TV shows, wash up, go to bed, wake up, watch a TV show while I had my breakfast, put on my clothes, and then where'd all that time go? I barely do anything nowadays. Feels like I go to work. Come on, work is 8 hours. School was what, 6 hours? Sometimes 7? This is light work, 6-7 hour shifts. So the things that you dropped out of your schedule, those little pieces that affected you, when you had to introduce new pieces, could it be possible that those new pieces you introduce don't actually fit into the pattern of who you are, and that's why you constantly feel anxious and why this whole thing is feeling like a depressed trap? The thing I think sometimes we miss, the thing that sometimes I feel like we miss when it comes to feeling the seasons is this parallel. It's like both sides of you. The first friend you ever had, the first girlfriend, boyfriend, partner you ever had, and expectation. And if you are not a person who is presented with the idea of media literacy or looking at things beyond face value, you will generally believe that what is out there, what people find popular, is what people talk about, is what people base their identities around, is what people have as basic conversation. And there is no more, or at least I don't see it as much, because I guess the internet makes these communities too large to really zone in on, but there's no place, there's no being, there's no organizing body that says, yo, for the youth. So the youth gotta find us. And whatever we're going through is what they're now going through, and such the cycle continues. But it used to be cloudy. You used to have little shit happen, like you losing your keys and having to be upset because your parent had to make a new set. Now you lose your keys, you can't get in your car. Commitment. Did you have more time back then? Or do you just have less of a will to commit to certain things? Because they're more taxing on an older body. I'm gonna tell you something that I learned real fucking quick, and it's only because my birthday coming up. Time moved at the same speed as when I first heard My December by Linkin Park after my car accident, and it was snowing, and it was so perfect, the mood and everything. Even though I think it was January, I was still listening to it. That doesn't fucking matter. I still remember it being snowing and like heavy kind of snow, but I had to like wheelchair myself over to my friend Devin's house so we could both play Tony Hawk's Project 8, and then he lent it to me to play for a little bit. Like, you don't have that many reasons to talk to people anymore. You don't have that many reasons to commit to anything anymore. Blocking somebody you had to see in school is crazy. Why would you block somebody you had to see in school? Who were you around most of the time? So how could kids possibly have a grasp on how to deal with that? That never came up before. It was the top 8. It was the top 5. And even then, that shit was so like dependent on who it was and which school you went to. I remember the first time somebody brought up a Twitter thread or something that happened on Twitter, and it had to have been, I think, 12th grade. Had to have been 12th grade. Maybe a little earlier. It could have been 11th grade. I'm feeling a little 11th grade in that story, but it could. I'm going with 12. And all those interactions, all those moments, all those split. I gotta go this way. I gotta go that way. I gotta hang out with these friends. I only get 3 hours, so I'm gonna go do this after school. I'm gonna go do that after school. With all of those people, all of that is gone. Not to be funny, depending on how you're watching this and where you're watching this, but I am only one person, assumably talking to only one person, you, the viewer. It is no wonder that big streamers and big YouTubers are going to just be that forever. And that there's less time to break into that stratosphere, because now you're fighting every single portion of that, every single way. And you don't even recognize the fight. And that's not a slight to you. Hell, I just dabbled in these conclusions before. This is all a metaphysical conversation and all philosophical. What does it all mean? But it's funny that we were never given the chance to ask, what does it all mean? Making sure your PS2 memory card was safe when you used to help let a friend borrow it so they could copy data off of it and then give it back to you the next day. Being able to get scammed by certain people because, you know, oh, let's trade games for like a week so I could play that one and you could play this one. And then their friends taking the game. Their friends taking it a whole other way, a whole other like different direction and stealing it out of your backpack and then pretending they don't know. The whole pretend I lost something and I can't find it. It's like, bro, you guys were the only people who knew it was there. And then them becoming artists that you see 10 years later doing the damn thing and they're like, yo, you trying to collab? And all of a sudden now y'all got an art project together. Most people say, yeah, if you had school, duh, you were all in the same class, you had to see each other every day. Of course those things would happen more naturally. That's how people work. Why does that not exist in your adult life? Is that your decision? When did you decide you wanted to be alone? It used to be cloudy. And that used to cause you feelings that you no longer feel. How do you address that part of yourself when there's no time to do so? What becomes of that person when you automatically are forced into a situation where you have to confront that? Do you break down? Oh shit, that's overwhelming. Are you prepared for it? Time moved at the exact same speed when I was that age listening to My December as it did in the days coming up to my 30th birthday. Time was just all it was. Time. I'm gonna say something now. I want you to plug in for this one. It's not that you had more time. It's that you had less options. Shout out to my Combat Arms people back in the day. Once I say Combat Arms, I feel like everybody understood this entire piece. But it took us a long time to get there, right? That's why I said earlier, the beginning of this, I don't want to just jump straight to the internet thing. Because that's easy to mark. MapleStory is easy to mark. Yes, group activities on the internet. Not solo queue wasn't exactly for the sake of heart, you know what I mean? Now solo queue is for the sake of heart. What's the first thing they tell you in all these guides? Don't solo queue, team up with people so that way you have less of a chance of getting a troll. And if you have a troll, you know you can depend on somebody. Okay. The point of solo queue is to put me on a team with people who feel the same way. They're not gonna. But that Killzone Online though, that shit felt different. Different UIs, operating systems, everything wasn't just click play. PC is now one of the most dominant subcultures and everything on here is click open. You don't gotta slide in a CD, DVD and wait for it to spin up and load with the box. Progression is good, but the stench of nostalgia reminds you that why didn't they just put these two experiences together? Who is this for? And that's why a lot of people feel like gaming's not for them anymore. For me, it's the weather. That summer don't feel like summer. That rain don't feel like that movie rain no more. Snow feels fucked from no matter where you looking at it. Unless you live in one of them beautiful ass places where it snows, then this don't apply to you. Climate change, like, hey, there's a whole other direction I can take this in. Yeah, I know, but who gives a fuck? Gunbound, guns the duel, fly for fun. That feeling when you walk into a store and it was huge when you were a kid. Yeah, now you look at a tall building and it's like, what the fuck did you build that for? Yes, your understanding of the world changed. We get that. But I'm asking you, who set that rule up for you? Did you want that? Because it seems like there's a rise in depression and sadness and all this weird shit. And I'm like, novelty wore off. What's made for them? What's made for us? What the kids got is kind of corny. Cartoons used to be so much better. This used to be so much cooler. This used to be that. This used to be this. Now it feels like nothing. Oh, I can't wait to play this game. I wonder how I can make content out of this. I wonder what I'm gonna post. It's like all these little ass goals that you now have that you have to deal with in order to like move. Like all these little tiny goals that you set up, and now you feel like your day is stuffed. And half of the shit that you gotta do is on your fucking phone. No after school centers, no places to like play games, and no real reason to meet up unless it's a tournament or unless you know people. You got to get in a little circle. There's no center set up. There's no none of this. There's no none of that. You got to pay $3,000. You got to pay this. We got to rent this out. People's houses ain't in good condition. People poor, ain't got time, got 3 jobs, and it used to be cloudy. But I'm still the paradigm shift. And I will always see you in the next one. Hey, if you made it to this part of the video, you should hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that bell to stay notified. I know I've been whack with the uploads, but trust me, they in the chamber. I'm just trying to make them good and choppy up for y'all because I see y'all fucking with the vibe and the edits. Hit that subscribe. I got plenty more content to come, and I hope you stick around for all of it. Thank you.